Formula 3 Asian Championship, certified by FIA, is the first worldwide F3 series, starting according with the new FIA Formula 3 regulation. And we are starting 6 months ahead of the schedule that was planned by FIA. The new F3 technical regulation is different than the old Formula 3 that we were used to work in the past. The main difference is that the engine has not anymore airbox. Engine power has been set at 270 horsepower, and the chassis needs to respect the latest specification in terms of safety. The main difference that everybody can notice is the presence of the halo system that makes comparable to Formula 1 and Formula 2. It's a new regulation that will be applied also for all the new series Formula 3 in the world starting from 2019, and we are really proud to be the first one to start with the new technical regulation of FIA.
Hi, I'm Queso, car 00 from Houston, Texas, with Queso and Racing.
My name is Takajata. I'm driving with Team Super Racing. I'm from Japan.
我是殷海涛，我在 Motorsport 的车手，我的车号是3号。
My name is Louis Brett. I'm from Monaco. I'm driving for Black Art Racing, and I will hold the car number 4 for the whole season.
我叫于快，驾驶5号赛车，代表 Chase Irwin Racing.
My name is Tomoki Takahashi. I'm Super Racing, car number 7. I'm from Japan.
My name is Jeremy Mohammed. I'm driving car number 8 and I'm racing for SVC Asia.
I'm Billy from Zen Motorsport. My car number is 10, 16 years old.
我是梁汉超，我是 Dragon High-Tech GP 车队的，然后开的是11号赛车。
My name is Rahul Hyman. I race for Dragon High-Tech GP. I'm from Great Britain and I'm car number 27.
My name is Akash Neil Nandi. I drive for Absolute Racing car number 29 and I'm from Malaysia.
My name is Dragon. Car number is 13. Linux Racing Team from Japan.
Hello, I'm Percy Martono. I come from Indonesia. I drive car number 32 from Black Art Racing Team.
Hi, I'm Akash Jawda and I'm 19 years old and I'm from India, racing for Team M Sports, car number 32.
Jake Hughes, car number 34 from High-Tech Dragon GP.
我是曹卓，今年16岁，我的车号是55，来自 Pinnacle 车队。
I'm Jaden Conrad. I drive car number 80 for Absolute Racing.
我们现在是在雪邦国际赛场为您进行2018年国际汽联亚洲3级方程式锦标赛。雪邦这条赛道呢，它看起来是一个很平缓的赛道，但是它的弯角范围特别的大，同时它的直道特别的宽，所以车手在过弯的时候啊，一定要熟悉好赛道，熟悉好你在弯中的位置。正赛即将开始。7号 Tomoki Super License 的 Tomoki Takahashi 冲出了赛道。车回到了赛道，这是一位很敢于进攻的车手。JQ 通过方格旗非常漂亮。
Asia is recognized as to be the growing market in the world, not only for motorsport. F3 Asian Championship has collect drivers and teams from all over the world. We have 3 teams from Europe, we have teams from India, we have teams from Japan, Hong Kong and China. Just to show that this is the market and the place where drivers and teams want to be now and for the future. In order to be ready for in July 2018, we made a very big effort Only 6 months ago, we have got confirmation about the technical regulation and specification of the car. It was a hard job from the car manufacturer, engine manufacturer and organizer to make it ready in a very short period. The championship that we are delivering is really good. It looks that the team and driver are really satisfied about the product. Tatus and Auto Technical has delivered a very good car and reliable especially. And as organizer, we have set up a very good platform for team and drivers to perform in Asia.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to watch the live show of Formula 3 Asia Championship certified by FIA. In this morning, we had a really wonderful competition, and it's the first time that three drivers from the three team won the podium, and they are Ben Haley from Dragon High-Tech GP, Joe Conrad from Absolute Racing, and Tom Marco from Super License. And the first appearance of Asia Formula 3 in China was wonderful, and Jordan he will start from the pole position in this race, and he managed to have all three pole positions in this weekend, but he still needs to try his best to have the first ever win in Asia Formula 3. Race 5 is about to start, stay tuned.
OK， 那么我们各位车迷朋友们，大家下午好啊！欢迎收看国际汽联亚洲3级方程式锦标赛宁波站的现场直播。在我们上午进行的第4回合比赛呢，我们颁奖台上首次出现了全场前3名分别被来自3支不同车队车手占据的情况啊。第1到第3名分别是来自Dragon High-Tech GP 的 Ben Hingley， 第2名是来自 Absolute Racing 的 Jaden Conrad， 第3名是来自 Super License 的日本车手 Tomoki Takahashi。那么我们亚洲 F3在国内赛道上的首演可以说是十分的成功。那么在本场比赛呢，从杆位发车的他仍然是在上午的比赛中做出全场最快单圈的 Jaden Conrad， 这样他已经成功的拿下了本个周末全部3场比赛的杆位。但是呢，他仍然需要拿出上佳的表现才能从众多的年轻车手中杀出重围，拿到他个人在亚洲 F3的首场胜利。那么现在我们第5回合比赛马上就要开始了，到底花落谁家？敬请关注。
So you have amazing performance this morning, and you still at the first position to start. So you will lead the competition again. So what do you feel about it?
Well, just aim for a better start than in the morning. So, yeah. Other than that, the race was good. Just focus on the start.
And also, you managed to start the race with the pole position for all this weekend. And how you managed to do that?
Well, I just kept our head down during the race and just managed to get the fast lap.
You did really well this morning, so after this afternoon, what are you gonna do?
Well, this morning was an extremely messy race. I got pushed off at the start whilst challenging for the lead, so that was quite difficult. So in this race, I'm just going to try and get a good start, try and lead into turn 1, and if not, then just make sure I'm consistent and overtake if it's possible. but it's all about the first few laps.
And now the weather is a little bit chilly, it's not so hot, so will that be better for you?
I think it'll be a bit different because the conditions have been quite warm all the way, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference in terms of whether we're faster or slower. I think the car is pretty good. I think we have good race pace in particular, but Absolutes have been extremely quick this whole weekend, so can't count them out.
So what do you think about this track?
Yeah, we'll see how we get on in this race. We've got our worst tyres on for the 3 races, so might struggle a little bit more in this one than we did in the first one. But you know, another good start, and we'll be at the front. And I managed to pace really well in the first race, so I think if I can get in front, we'll stay there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So this morning you said you're going to push hard, and now at this race, do you want to push hard more?
Yes, much more. And this one is tough, very good. So next race is better. Maybe I want to stop. So I want fast place for second place, more push.
And about this circuit, do you think it's difficult, and which turn do you think is most difficult for you?
Yes, it's very difficult. So this circuit is too tough. So maybe too difficult.
Well, if you're just tuning in to the Facebook or the YouTube streams, you are watching live coverage of the F3 Asian Championship, certified by FIA. That is the number 6 car of Liu Zexuan. And we are going to be at race time for the second race of the day in just a few moments' time. Jaden Conwright is the man who will start from pole position again, as he did this morning. But unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to convert into victory. He finished second after an impressive opening from Ben Hingley, who on his debut here in the F3 Asian Championship won the race despite starting from the 3rd row of the grid in position number 5. So the 12 cars are getting ready, and just confirmation of the grid. Jaden Conwright starts from Raoul Hyman. Ben Hingley, who won this morning's race, starts in 3 from Tomoki Takahashi. Akash Nandi, the Malaysian driver, alongside Louis Pret on the 3rd row of the grid. Then is Yu Kuai and Charles Leong, Akash Gowda and Yin Hai Tao, and Liu Zexuan with Tomoka Hata from the 6th and final row of the grid for today's race. So the final few technicians and mechanics leaving the grid in a moment's time, and then we will have one formation lap as always, and then it will come back for a standing start and 25 minutes of racing. Now I know some people were tuning in from the UK, very, very early UK time this morning. Thanks for waking up to join us. Hopefully it's a little bit more civilized now. But if you weren't able to catch the action from Ningbo International Speed Park, I can tell you that the circuit here, 22 turns in just a shade over 4 kilometers in length, means that the drivers are always doing something. That is the longest straight that you have there. That's the home straight. But it's barely long enough for them to take a breather. So there's no traditional passing moves down the long straights here, but there's plenty of... It's such a technical track for the drivers that lots of action can happen through forced mistakes from the driver in front. Now, as we go through the formation lap, I'll pull out some of the trickier areas to focus on and where there might be opportunities. But so far in this F3 Asian Championship, the Dragon High-Tech GP team has dominated, winning all 4 races. Jake Hughes, who is in Monza on GP3 duty this weekend, won all 3 races at Sepang last time out. And then Ben Hingley, the man who replaced him for this weekend, won this morning, despite a front row grid of Absolute Racing of Akash Nandi and Jaden Conwright. But Conwright has another go to try to get that maiden win here for the Absolute Racing team in this year's F3 Asian Championship, certified by FIA. But behind him in 2nd and 3rd, Raoul Hyman and Ben Hingley, both from the Dragon High-Tech GP team. They will be trying to maintain that streak. Now, good to see a lot of competition because Tomoka Takahashi from the Japan Super License team starts on the 2nd row of the grid in position number 4. Then Nandi, Conwright's teammate from Absolute Racing, in 5. Louis Pret from Black Arts Racing, Monaco driver based out of Hong Kong, starts in position number 6. The Chinese driver from Zen Motorsports, Yu Kuai, goes in position number 7. Charles Leong, the 16-year-old from Macau, who bases himself out of Zhuhai in southern China, he will start from 8th on the grid. Then the Indian driver from Bangalore, Akash Gowda from the M Sport Asia team. Yin Hai Tao leads the Masters Challenge for Zen Motorsports. And another team in this series, EMC Squared Racing. That is Liu Zexuan, who starts from 11th. And then it is Takashi Hata, who is in position number 12 on this race. So the formation lap we are in, and this is the 5, 6, 7, 8 sequence of corners where there's a lot happening for the drivers. Before we go round down here into the hairpin. But this is a new track, opened late last year. And it was interesting to see throughout the free practice and qualifying sessions, the drivers who were able to come a little bit early for a test session last week definitely had the edge on the whole against the drivers who were coming in fresh, as you would expect, but with more and more laps under their belts. It has started to even out a little bit as some of those drivers who joined us later in Ningbo have started to catch up somewhat. But it's great to see more new tracks spring up around this part of the world. You can see a little bit of a downhill stretch there. Not too much elevation, Not nearly as much as Zhejiang circuit, which is just down the road, but also in this province in eastern China, about an hour or so away. But there is a little bit of a climb and then that descent that we saw around the back part of the circuit. So Jaden Conwright, the Californian driver, will line up from the front row of the grid, and he will be hoping for a better start than he had this morning. That is members of the Dragon High-Tech GP team. And Conwright and Akash Nandi from the front row, both a little bit sluggish this morning, and they'll be talking with Ingo Mata from the Absolute team and trying to figure out how to fix that today. Akash Nandi wasn't feeling his best. He was a little bit under the weather this morning, so that perhaps accounted for his performance in the race. But he did finish in 4th position, but will have been disappointed having started from the front row. So the green flag, we look like we are going to be go time any moment. Watch for those lights to go out. Now they go. Conwright moves on the left of screen. Can he hold the lead into the turn as he failed to do earlier? Yes, he can. A textbook start from the American. Jaden Conwright will stay ahead of Raoul Hyman in the opening stages. Now the number 7 of Takahashi goes into 3rd past Ben Hingley. Let's see if he's ever goes a little bit wide, but the Japanese driver trying to look up into what's all happening there. Conwright is away and clear. There goes Hingley down the inside, the number 34 car. And not this time, but he's right in the thick of things. So another action-packed start here, and good to see a clean start as Conwright leads from Hyman. A little bit of lock up there from Raoul Hyman, and has that opened the door for Tomoko Takahashi. No, he's still second. Conwright is trying to put a bit of a gap into this lead as Akash Nandi in 5th position just has a look at the Japanese driver ahead of him in 4th position. You see that bump there on the turn when the drivers take it tight. That can be very difficult for these Formula cars. Very low to the ground. And that is a decision they have to make every lap. Just how close do you cut it? Jaden Conwright has rectified the errors that he was making this morning, and he had a very good start from pole position and has a little bit of a gap as we come around to complete the opening gap. We'll see just how big that is, and he will be hoping that he can keep it. So as they go round the first one, Conwright 1.3 seconds ahead of Raoul Hyman. So 1 and 2 remaining unchanged, and then Takahashi has just edged up over Hingley, swapping around 3rd and 4th from the grid position. The number 4 car of Lewis Brett, he is currently in 8th. He's dropped down a little bit from his starting position of 6th. And you can see Akash Nandi and Ji Kwai in 5 and 6. So Jaden Conwright sets the pace here at the Ningbo International Speed Park. And there wasn't too many positional changes after the first lap or so in this morning's race, but some fierce battles being through all race long. So we'll see whether there are some overtakes this afternoon. It's 4:20 in the afternoon local time here on the eastern China seaboard. Right on the coast we are here. And you watch that countdown clock from 25 minutes down to 0. And when we hit 0, the leader will finish his lap, and we will get the checkered lap. So just a little bit over 25 minutes. That's how these races are timed. And Conwright leads from Raoul Hyman, then Tomoko Takahashi, and Ben Hingley in 4th position. Now, he started in 5th and managed to win this morning's race, so he'll be hoping that he can make some similar progress as this race continues. Takahashi, the Japanese driver, a bit of a wild card sometimes, but when he's on it, he's very, very quick. Well, Lewis Pret has moved up one spot into 7th position, going past Akash Gowda on the second lap of this race. And Jaden Conright at the front of the field now with a 2.3 second gap. The number 4 car there of Lewis Pret holding up Akash Gowdy. Takashi Hatta was the number 2 car at the rear of the field, but still very much in touch. This field still pretty compact as we move into the 3rd lap of the race. The 27 car, Raoul Hyman, currently in position number 2. Then comes Takahashi, then Hingley, Nandi, Yu, Pret, Gowda, Leong, Liu, Yin Hai Tao, and Takashi Hatta. Now, just to give you an update on the overall standings in the F3 Asian Championship certified by FIA, Jake Hughes, who is not here this weekend, still leads thanks to his 3 wins. A little bit of lock up there in the number 33 car of Akash Gowda. And he started from position number 9. Had a good start, but has since fallen back down. And that is the number 5 car of Yu Kuai. Back to Jaden Conright, and the lead is slightly shrinking. 0.4 of a second Raoul Hyman has picked up on lap number 3. And was particularly quick through sector 2. Seems to be a little bit of debris on the track, doesn't appear to be in the racing line, so shouldn't worry the drivers too much. Conright, Hyman, Takahashi, Hingley, Nandi, Yu, Pret, Leong and Gowda and Liu Zexuan rounding out the top 10. And the 3M cars there, 10, 11 and 12 in the Masters category, so they will have a separate competition for their races as well. Some more veteran drivers entering the Masters category. Charles Leong in position number 8, just 16 years old, turned 17 in a couple of weeks. 34 car of Ben Hingley having a look up the inside of Takahashi there, just letting him know that he is still very much in the mix for the podium positions. And this is that battle for 3rd. Oh, and that's a little bit heavy on the brakes there from Takahashi. Such a technical circuit. Can't afford to switch off for a moment. We saw some great battles earlier from the GT tyre company. GT have supplied all the tyres for this championship. They're involved in several of the series in this part of the world, in Asian motorsport. I was saying earlier today, it's a pretty hard compound of these tyres. Perhaps a little bit on the safe side, but certainly nothing to worry about in terms of tyre wear as these race progresses. So that's one factor fewer for the drivers to have to consider. And Jaden Conright still leading, but the gap is down to 1.5 seconds, with Raoul Hyman just dropping a 1:44.6, the fastest lap of this race. So this could be interesting to watch. Plenty of time here. Raoul Hyman sounding pretty confident on the grid. He will be desperate to keep that Dragon High-Tech GP streak alive. We're going for 5 in a row here. Conright is trying to break that dominance and notch a win on the board for Absolute Racing. Absolute Racing have been pretty dominant themselves in Asian motorsports over the last 5 or more years. Involved in many of the series that we see on these circuits. And several series making their debuts here at the Ningbo International Circuit this weekend. Described by veteran Chinese driver Frankie Cheung, who spent a number of years in the European and British motorsport scene as a teenager before coming back to race in China and in Asia, described this as the most difficult circuit in China. And there are quite a few now, with new circuits opening up all the time. Now Conright leads by less than a second from Hyman, so Hyman continuing to eat into that lead, and another fastest lap, a 1:44.2. 0.93 seconds, now the gap between these two at the front of the field. Then a bit of a drop, 3 seconds or more, down to Tomoko Takahashi in third position. Ben Hingley still in fourth, Akash Nandi in fifth, Yu Kuai in sixth, then Louis Pret, Charles Leong, Akash Gowda and Liu Zexuan. The cars are all pretty tight amongst each other. Jaden Conright having a bit of support online from fans who've got up early to watch. Thank you for tuning in from wherever you are around the world, whether you're in his native California or elsewhere. Ben Hingley also with some fans who I know have tuned in from the UK. So the battle for third. This is Hingley trying to overtake the Japanese driver in front of him and get back up into the podium spots. He's had a perfect debut so far, at least in terms of finishes. 1 for 1 despite starting this morning's race in position number 5. And again, Hyman eats into Conright's lead at the front. 0.76 seconds here. And Conright lapping pretty well, but Hyman at the moment just has the edge for pace. The last 4 laps or so, after a nice start by the young American. Raoul Hyman, the British driver in position number 2, has been closing that gap, and he's pretty much right behind Conright right now. So, as I mentioned earlier, we haven't seen too many passing moves in this category at the Ningbo International Speed Park so far this weekend. But Raoul Hyman, now, well, disappointment there for the number 2 car. Mr. Hatta, who's run into difficulties. Takashi Hatta, veteran Japanese driver from the Super License team, and his race is over. Looks to have pulled that into a safe spot, so hopefully we can continue racing. Conright just heavy on the brakes. Perhaps a little opportunity somewhere here. He's definitely feeling the heat. You can see it here. Raoul Hyman continuing to apply pressure right behind him now. There is nothing in it. But where can Hyman find a move to try to get past the American and into the lead? Now the challenge for Conright, and this straight not particularly long, as you can see, just 0.34 seconds. Nothing at all in it between these two. But no classic areas for long straights and overtaking using the slipstream, as we see on some of the other circuits, such as Shanghai, Fuji with another long straight over in Japan. The Ningbo circuit, all about twists and turns, and that looks... Well, Hingley making a move there. And the number 34 car of Ben Hingley has gone up into third position. And I'm not sure if Takahashi is struggling, but he was under threat from Akash Nandi as well. So changes for 3, 4 and 5. As we flip back to the leaders, Conright continuing to be under pressure from Raoul Hyman. We are past the midway point at this race. And Conright will have to make a decision as to whether he drives a more defensive line or whether he tries to just put his foot down and be the quickest that he can be. So Conright and Hyman about 5 seconds or more clear at the front of this field. And still nothing in it, just 0.4 of a second. So their confirmation that Hingley has gone past Takahashi, and Takahashi already under pressure from Akash Nandi. Then a bit of a battle between this pair further down the field, with Louis Prent in 7th and Charles Leong in 8th. And 11 drivers remaining in the field. After the unfortunate retirement of Takashi Hatta. Here goes Hyman. Oh, he's maybe gone through, but bit of a lock up there. Can he make it stick? No, he can't. Oh! Very close between these two at the front. Jaden Conright holds on to the lead for now. And Raoul Hyman, you think, will probably try again. 10 minutes to go, but plenty of time in the context of this race. Oh, it's a very tight corner there for Hyman second. Doesn't seem to have affected him. Cut it very fine, but not too close. You can't take your eyes off this battle. There is absolutely nothing in it here. Raoul Hyman has finished 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, and then another podium, and down in 5th this morning. But he has yet to get a win. He will be desperate to get his first victory. Conright also has yet to register a victory in this series, as we see the Absolute drivers anxiously watching their man Jaden Conright, see if they can somehow break the dominance of the Dragon High-Tech GP team, who have won the opening 4 races of this F3 Asian Championship series. And Hyman is their bet to try and make it 5. But Conright is doing all he can to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, Ben Hingley has been putting in some quick times there. He's about 4.5 seconds back of Hyman in 2nd place, but already he is 2.5 seconds up on Takahashi in 4th. Oh, and Conright wheel to wheel there with Hyman. Another opportunity perhaps for Raoul Hyman. Oh, and he got another look. Well, gripping racing at the front of this field. And Hyman really applying the pressure now on Jaden Conright to see if there's any possible way that he can get past him. It's not an easy track to overtake, but if he can force him, Conright, into making a mistake, perhaps that's his opportunity. And they are just throwing themselves around these corners. Still plenty of time here, probably another 3 or 4 laps, as 10 laps are now in the books and they enter lap 11th. And Raoul Hyman desperately trying to find a way past, but Jaden Conright is being pressured. Perhaps this could be it. Could Raoul Hyman go through? He's on the inside, but no, Conright comes back round. Well, more dramatic scenes here at Ningbo. And this is an absolutely phenomenal battle between these two young drivers. Jaden Conright, 19 years old. Raoul Hyman, a little bit older at 22, in the car behind him. And probably, unless there's a big incident, probably a little bit too far ahead, but Hingley in 3rd position. The top of that shot is trying to get onto their tail if he can, perhaps be in the mix if anything happens between these front two. Conright continues to lead from Raoul Hyman. And such a competitive series with these teams neck and neck throughout the weekend. Absolute Racing looked to have had the edge throughout free practice and the qualifying session that we had yesterday. But then the Dragon High-Tech GP team won their 4th consecutive victory of this championship. Absolute. Through Jaden Conright, now 11 laps in the books. And Conright, if he can just keep this going for another 6 or 7 minutes or so, will claim a memorable victory. That's the number 34 car of Ben Hingley, who unfortunately looks to have run into some problems. Well, that's disaster for him. Coming back at half speed. And that means that Takahashi has gone up into the podium position. So Ben Hingley, after a memorable performance this morning, will not be getting a repeat win. The number 7 car, Takahashi, right behind him is Akash Nandi. And Yu Kuai, the Chinese driver, as Raoul Hyman in the closing stages here has find a way past. Drama here in Ningbo, and Raoul Hyman now, they swap roles. Jaden Conright, can he take that position right back? Now the tables have turned. They're right behind each other. Conright almost touching at the back as Hyman drives through that big curb. Oh, and a fire there in the background. Well, it's all happening here in the final few laps. That's the number 7 car of Takahashi, who just moments ago gone up into 3rd. Looks to be all right. The car certainly isn't at the moment, but back to this lead, and you can't take your eyes off this for a moment. Meanwhile, that's Hingley that we saw limping back to the pits. His race is as good as over at this point, unfortunately for the youngster. But Raoul Hyman has taken his opportunity. He looked to be running out of time, but has gone past Jaden Conright and just has a few more laps here. And just when you thought the Absolute Racing team might have found a way to break the dominance of Dragon High-Tech GP, well, it's all turned upside down again. So Akash Nandi is up into 3rd position. Yu Kuai is in 4th. Charles Leong, the 16-year-old, in 5th position. And we just have a few more laps here in Ningbo. And that is your new race leader, Raoul Hyman, who is trying to open up as much of a gap as he can to relieve some of the pressure from Jaden Conright. He'll be desperately disappointed after holding, protecting and fighting to hold his lead for so long throughout this race. But Raoul Hyman eventually found a way past. Conright will at the very least want to stay in touch in case Hyman makes a mistake in front of him. Then there's about an 8-second gap to Akash Nandi in 3rd position. This is the battle for 5th, with Charles Leong holding off Akash Gowda.
So what happened in the circuit? Why your car has just been back?
Yeah, I was really fast. I was catching the 2 leaders, and I could have won that race. And the gearbox let go going into the hairpin, and I couldn't downshift. And then I locked on, went straight on, and then it was stuck in 1st gear. And tried reset, nothing will happen. So we'll have to have a look, get it ready for tomorrow. But oh well, one of them.
So for tomorrow, what's your arrangement?
Well, I think, we'll have to see what the car's like, but, we won race 1, we would have won race 2, I was catching a second a lap, so with that pace advantage and on our older tyre, we have fresher waiting for tomorrow, we'll be sweet, but we just need to try and sort the problem out, so we'll see. All right.
Well, Ben Hingley, disappointment for him. Good to see the confidence of these young drivers, saying he could have won that race. I think Raoul Hyman and Jaden Conright would have something to say about that. But as it is, this is the 3rd position of Akash Nandi, but Raoul Hyman still leads. And you can see that clock getting very close to 0. after which we will complete that lap before the checkered flag. Akash Nandi, a couple of seconds ahead of Yu Kuai, the Chinese driver. And this is Conright in position number 2, hoping at this point that Raoul Hyman makes a mistake, but it doesn't look likely. He's had a very, very solid race. And Conright started from pole position and maintained the lead from Hyman on the front row of the grid. But the pressure was relentless from Raoul Hyman, and he took the opportunity when it arose. So he'll be very, very happy with this performance. And just moments away from the first win of the season for Raoul Hyman. We are now on the last lap. As you can see, the clock is about to go down to 0. We will complete the 15th lap and we will have a race result for you. So Raoul Hyman just has to make sure he avoids a major mistake in this final lap. Jaden Conright, another solid drive for him. But always disappointing when you start from pole position and finish in second, which is going to happen twice in a day for the American. But he has one more chance to put that right. He will start, already he's qualified in pole position for tomorrow's race. So Jaden Conright can try again. He had a much better start this afternoon, unlike this morning where he was a bit sluggish. And he's got good championship points, so that's at least a silver lining. I can try and wrap up the standings for you at the conclusion of this race. But Jake Hughes, the leader, of course, not here. So both Hyman and Conright, who are second and third in the overall standings, will be gaining ground today and tomorrow, you would expect as well. So just a few more seconds before it's official. And Raoul Hyman continuing to push here as he takes the checkered flag at the Ningbo International Speed Park. Jaden Conright, disappointment for him not to be able to convert pole position into a race victory, but a solid podium finish for him. And it looks like Akash Nandi came through for third position in the end, ahead of Yu Kuai, Charles Leong, Akash Gauda and Louis Pret rounding out the top 7. Liu Zexuan is going to take victory in the Masters category, with Yin Hai Tao joining him on the podium. But 3 retirements in today's race, with Takashi Hata not able to do more than about 5 or so laps. And then a retirement, we heard from Ben Hinchley earlier, stuck in first gear, so he had to bring the car back. And then Tomoka Takahashi, who could be right on the pace, but always seems to be in the thick of something, was doing so well in the mix for that battle for third position. But then a brief fire on board, it looked like, and he had to pull the car over. Raoul Hyman, interestingly, set the best lap time of the race in that very last lap, in lap number 15, with a 1:44.0. So he was pushing hard all the way to the end. Certainly wasn't coasting to victory. And that is a sign of confidence from a young driver, having just got past Jaden Conright to take the lead in the closing laps here in Eastern China. So Raoul Hyman continues the dominance of the Dragon High-Tech GP team with 5 straight wins, even though all signs were pointing to Absolute Racing coming into this morning's race. And you can see Raul holding on to the halo that all these Formula cars have now. Safety feature which has been incorporated over the last few years. As Raul Hyman comes in to celebrate with his team. And Akash Nandi in the black car pulling up alongside for the third position. So confirmation of the podium positions at the Ningbo International Speed Park. Raul Hyman takes the win, his first of the year. Jaden Conwright is in second for the second time in a day, and Akash Nandi, a Malaysian driver, will join them on the podium. So there is the winner, who celebrates with his team. Hasn't had the chance to take victory yet in this F3 Asian Championship season, and you can see that it means a great deal to him. So Raul will just get his breath back, and we'll go down to get a word with him in a moment. But confirmation: Hyman, Conwright, Nandi, Yukwai, Charles Leong and Akash Gowda rounding out the top six. Then Louis Pret and Liu Zexuan. Yin Haitao, the final finisher, in 9th position. Disappointment for Ben Hingley, who was running very well in 3rd position before a late retirement. And Tomoko Takahashi and Takashi Hata, the 2 Japanese drivers in the field, also had to retire at various
Congratulations,
points.
you said at the 2nd position and now you end up with the 1st position. What do you feel?
Well, relieved really. I mean, it was good, good race. I mean, Jaden didn't really make it very easy for me, as well he shouldn't really, but still. The plan was to get him off the start, because I knew that my start from the first race was pretty good and his wasn't. But then that didn't go to plan, so I had to come back at him later on in the race. The first few laps he pulled a gap, and then I just got my head down and started chipping away, caught him at the end, and managed to put the move on him. So really happy, especially after the chaos this morning, to be able to come away with the result that myself and the team deserve.
So for tomorrow, what do you expect?
Well, tomorrow is going to be difficult because my lap in qualifying, I did 2 quick laps that were good enough for P3, and I got them taken away from me because of track limits. So that's why today was so important. So it'll be an uphill struggle from there, but I'm bullish. I think we can do something special.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
A perfect summary of the race there by Raul Hyman. Third race of the weekend.
So I saw that you have a really decent competition with Hyman, right? And how you managed to do that?
Yeah, I got a good start on like the first race, but the pace from Hyman was just massively quick. So I did what I could, and I think I held him off for like 3/4 of the race. But yeah, I just made a small mistake, and he got me on the last 5 minutes. So 2nd place again. Wanted to be 1st, but still the best that we could do. No.
And for tomorrow, you also start at the pole position. So what are you gonna do that tomorrow?
Try to get the same start as I did this race, and then hold the position. Don't drop back to 2nd. Okay. All right, thank you.
Jaden Conwright hoping that it will be 3rd time lucky in tomorrow's race. He will be starting from pole position from the 3rd straight time this weekend, but he has finished 2nd in both those races. So he'll be desperate to get his first win, but he's certainly been accruing solid championship points. Now Akash Nandi.
So you start at the 5th position and now you are the 3rd one. What do you feel?
I mean, it feels good to be on the podium. I mean, the result for me, starting where we qualified, not really ideal, but it's nice to be on the podium. It was a difficult race, you know, I had some contact with Takahashi. But yeah, good to be on the podium, get some points. Yeah.
And what do you think about the circuit here?
I think generally it's a fun circuit, but too bumpy. So it's quite hard on the cars. So, you know, even doing testing, we were struggling, but, you know, it was good. We have the pace. Yeah.
Okay. So for tomorrow, what are you going to do that?
I don't know yet. At the moment, I just need to go and rest because I'm not well. Okay. So I'll wake up and decide tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thanks for tuning in. And you can come back again tomorrow for more coverage of the F3 Asian Championship. Keep up to date with all the information on the website. You can watch on the Facebook or YouTube streams. That's it for today. 2 great races. But the story is that Dragon High-Tech GP will continue their dominance. They were looking for 6 straight wins. Thanks for watching and see you tomorrow.
We are now having the podium ceremony for 2018 Formula 3 Asia Championship, certified by FIA, Race 5. Now let's welcome our winners onto the podium. First place, car number 27, from Dragon High-Tech GP, Raoul Heyman. Second place, car number 80, from Absolute Racing, Jaden Cowart. Third place, car number 29, from Absolute Racing, Akash Nandi. Now it's my honor to invite Mr. Zolo Wei, Chief Engineer of GT Tire RD Center, to present the trophy to the winners. Champagne time! congratulations, for the amazing run, and tell us about how did you overtake Jaden besides you at the second half of the race?
Thank you, first of all. Tough race. As I said earlier, the plan was to get a good start and try and get the job done there. But Jaden made a great start, had a good first lap, and then started pulling away. So after that, just gathered everything together and started hunting him down. I managed to catch him. So my dragging my tech GP car was massively quick, so that was good. And then, the move, I tried a few times, but it's quite difficult to overtake here. So eventually, Jaden ran a bit wide. I think it was in turn 6 or 7, and I managed to capitalize on that. So we went into, I think it's turn 9, the hairpin. We had a bit of overlap, and then managed to come out of there. We won and kept it through turn 10 and 11, and then it was job done. So I knew we had the pace to pull away. So big thanks to the team. They really did a good job, especially because they haven't had the same track times as everybody else around here. So the improvements have been massive. So well done to them in particular.
Alright, thank you. And Jaden, my question is also about the competition between you guys. We saw that to defend your position, you have to go some unusual line. So, and this circuit has a lot of corners. Do you think this will cause the problem to manage your tires?
Yeah, definitely. I saw that I got a good start in the first couple laps, and I was pulling away from Raul, but he had massive pace throughout the race. He was very quick. He closed the gap in really quickly, and I was trying to do what I could to manage the tires, but still keep the pace because his pace over the race was just been much quicker than us. So I was doing what I could, and then he finally ended up getting by me in the end because I think I did use a bit too much of the tires trying to defend from him. So it's unfortunate, but we had a good race. We did what we could, and the pace throughout the race was very high. So it was just trying to do what we could to keep him behind.
Alright, thank you. And next question, Lu Sichuan. As a new driver for our series, it seems like you just had a perfect Saturday. So first race you second place, and this race you won the cup. And what's more we can expect for tomorrow's race?
I think tomorrow's race I'm going to do something like that. There's a brand new tire, so I think the pace will be better than today. So I think the race won the first half of the few laps. I think I was quite lazy, so I'm telling myself be as aggressive first 10 laps. Yeah, and it worked pretty good. So I think tomorrow I just put all the things together and try to get it.
So can I say that we still not see the 100% of you?
Yeah.
Alright, good luck.